The 2025 golf season is wrapping up, and that means it's time to look back at some of the best golf gear of the year. New clubs are right around the corner, but don't worry, it's not too late to get your hands on the proven performers from this past season. As a certified club fitter, my goal is to help each and every one of you feel confident that your setup is helping, not hurting your game. So in this new series, I'll be going over drivers, irons, wedges, putters, and golf balls, giving you all the inside scoop from a club fitter's perspective about which manufacturers were on their A game and which ones fell short in this past year. So without further ado, let's wrap this year up with a bang and get right into it. To start out this series, I'm going to be covering the irons, and more specifically in this video, I'm going to be going over the best game improvement irons of 2025. These rankings are based on my personal testing, yes, but also how well they did in fittings compared to the other irons in this category. For example, the top spot in this video was probably my most fit for iron throughout the entire year, so make sure you're staying tuned for that. Getting into it with a quick honorable mention here, that's going to be the ZXi 4 iron from Srixon. Starting out with the technology, they used iForged technology, which is actually going to make the face feel a lot softer and a lot better compared to some of the other irons on this list. And they actually use that technology in all of their irons, from their players irons all the way through to their game improvement irons. They also use V-Sole, which I've talked about in plenty of other videos, how much of a fan I am of that. I think it does lead to some of the best turf interaction in the game of golf. They also use progressive grooves, which means more spaced out grooves in the 4, 5, and 6 iron, and then in the shorter scoring clubs, more tightly spaced grooves, which should lead to more spin and control in those scoring clubs. And the only reason the ZXi 4 isn't higher is because while it technically is a game improvement iron, it's not quite as forgiving or game improvement-y as the other ones on this list. However, I have heard through the grapevine that Srixon is going to be releasing an even more forgiving head model coming out in the next year. So I'm really excited to see that. Now moving right along here into the top 3, in third place I have the TaylorMade Qi irons. And the first thing you see when you look these up on TaylorMade's website is that they were designed to hit the ball as straight as possible. And that's what I saw all year throughout my fittings. It was really consistent iron, and these are probably the most draw biased irons on this list. If you miss right, I would definitely say to check these out. Cap back design allows players to get the performance benefits of the hollow body design without losing out on that feel that you get from the hollow body sometimes. It really does a good job of dampening those vibrations that we feel on mishits. Maybe, we thin one and it really stings our hands. It doesn't do that quite as much in these irons, and that's true. It's what they claim, but it's also true from what I've seen and what I've heard. And just, all the information that I've gathered in my fittings. The center of gravity also climbs with the loft, so it's going to be lowest in your long irons for ease of launch, but then it's going to be a little bit higher in your shorter, more scoring clubs for more spin and more control. And these have also been out for 2 years, so I would guarantee that next year we will be getting a completely new lineup of game improvement irons from TaylorMade. Now for my runner-up, and in second place, I have the Ping G730. Now for Ping, these irons have a flexing face, which is actually thinner and leads to higher ball speeds and easier launch throughout the entire iron lineup. And yes, I can attest in my fittings, this one seemed probably the easiest to launch of all of the irons on this list, just by the general population of golfers out there. Ping also has technology in these irons that leads to a more powerful and just pleasing sound, which, yes, again, is true now. It doesn't actually affect performance at all. It's just a personal preference thing. Personally, I couldn't care less what my irons sound like. If they perform well, you might not share that same thought. So that really depends person to person, but not for nothing, they do sound really good. And just from a looks perspective at address, I do think these irons look the biggest, which when we're in the game improvement category is a good thing, especially when we're talking about maybe not the most consistent ball strikers. And like I said, they also were the easiest to launch in most of my fittings. They have a really wide sole, so it's really gonna help if you chunk the ball a lot. It should help a little bit get that ball still up in the air. It might not go, exactly how far you want it to go, but it should help it get up in the air and get close. Now, the reason these irons aren't number one is because they are so strongly lofted, they don't spin very much. Something you might want to do to combat this is you can actually order them in retro spec, which just means a weaker loft to promote higher launch and more spin. And taking the number one spot, this was a super easy pick for me. It's going to be the Mizuno JPX 925 Hot Metal. In my opinion, the Hot Metal lineup from Mizuno has been the most consistent, best of everything, do-it-all game improvement iron. Higher ball speeds, tons of forgiveness on toe and heel strikes, and ease of launch that rivals the G730. What more could you want? Now, by this point, you've probably noticed and picked up on a pattern that all of these companies are promoting in their game improvement lineup: lower center of gravity, higher ball speeds, more forgiveness, straighter shots, all the same stuff. All it comes down to at the end of the day is which one actually performs and performs the most consistently. Like I said with the Qi iron, because it's so left bias, players that struggle with the slice are really going to see the improvements with that iron. However, players that struggle with the hook probably aren't going to see as much improvement from that iron. With the Hot Metal, it didn't really matter what your miss was. High, low, left, right, everybody could see improvement with this iron. Now, this didn't play a factor in Mizuno coming out on top, but they offer almost every shaft, including graphite, at no upcharge, and they're the only company that doesn't charge you anything for whatever grip you want. So if you want a Z cord, if you want, I think they have Jumbo Max, if you want, whatever grip you want, they're not going to charge you extra for it, which when we're talking about new irons, that's a huge deal. So that's going to wrap up my top 4 best game improvement irons of the year 2025. Up next will be players distance and then players irons, and then from there we'll go to driver, wedges, putter, golf ball. Now there's 2 things I need you all to drop in the comments. First of all, what irons do you play? Do you play any irons on this list? If you do, let me know how you like them. And second of all, I don't know when this video is going to come out, but it's currently a week before the Ryder Cup, so drop your Ryder Cup predictions down below. Before I go, I also have to let you guys know that I have officially partnered with Primo. I have a discount code for you guys. That's going to be AKS15. It's going to save you guys 15% off at checkout. So yeah, be sure to go check out Primo. Now this is the first installment of this series. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button down below so you don't miss the rest of it. It's going to be a good one. You guys are going to want to be tuned in. And as always, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more insights from the eye of a club fitter, make sure you guys are hitting that like button down below. Really helps me out. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, peace out.